Punk at level 12, something that Awesome Jake or even Kana could try and pick up. But they still do have plenty of damage getting Raijin. I think this is a pick that Snoopy has looked very strong on as far as how the past couple of matchups we've seen. I've argued he's looking the best on the Raijin. There was just that one play where he overstepped a little bit too far around the Phoenix line, but still that game he was popping off. So don't hate to see the Raijin. I talked about not wanting to see something like the Yu Huang again, and I think Raijin does bring a little bit more damage, a little bit more sustain, a little bit more CC rather. It's pretty easy to try and go for a play like that. So that's not going to be a bad look. However, when you're standing still in Taiko drums, Searing Pain is relatively easy to hit. Maybe that's the reason Ben went to this Raw. I mean, you can really ruin a Raijin's day just trying to snipe him every time he goes into that ultimate.
Yeah, and they talked about the setup on the desk. This stun coming through from Scream. It's not an Athena taunt, and it's not a Windfire Wheels, but it is some form of setup, not to mention the setup coming from Haddix.
Oh, yeah.
Once we inevitably get to these team fights. So there is definitely some potential for Ven to just get these Searing Pains ripping through any given team fight. And especially so with the amount of area control that they have. Heroin back towards this Yemoja on this pick, and I think that the triple frontline, or pseudo triple frontline that they had in game one served them really well.
Yeah, they have a lot of that hard CC, which Ven is going to need, right? You can hit the free snipes, that's all well and good, but if you want to take the chance out of it, the predictions, you juke left, I juke right, that sort of thing, then just get some good CC, which Horus will definitely provide, as you said, of course. As long as Scream's by, not going to be a big issue. But once again, Scream has opted not to go for the cooldown buff and to evade Kirimi on this protection buff. Was a little late last time. This time around does not let it slide, and now Scream, because of that aggressive positioning, is able to pick up this protection buff unless Awesome Jake's able to steal away. Either way, Kirimi's not getting that XP, and that's a big difference maker. I mean, it's so often that we see, hey, they cleared faster than us, I'm just going to go right, they go left, that sort of thing. But Scream is not letting that slide any time this set.
He forces the 1v1, and it's a little bit of an advantage here early. We talked not a ton about it, and so I want to hit it again if we get a chance to. Zap taking quite a bit of poke there, Stu. Expected him to maybe roll in if he wanted more of it. We'll force the meditation from Heroin. But I mean, talking about this dual lane switch, we see Heroin back on the Yemoja, everything else changes. You get classic Hunter matchup. Zap once again gets the ability to be a little bit aggressive, which if game one is any indicator, he wants to be aggressive. But my biggest focus is maybe Jake. I don't know that he looked super comfortable on the surface in game number one. And we've seen him on the ground before, an aggressive pick, one that he likes to go back to. I expect him to be making waves on this pick.
A lot of damage coming through here. Ven does have his reset, but it looks like Snoopy's got more damage here. Can he stick around and use the drums? No, because here comes Hurrywin. Ven should be able to pick up, but Hurrywin steals it away. First blood. Snoopy just did not have the DPS to try and trade with Ra. So much healing, so much damage, and that Horn Shard coming in real clutch.
Yeah, I didn't think he would take that, to be honest.
No, I thought he would bail much earlier.
I thought he would bail way earlier. He wants to take the fight instead. Heroin comes over, steals the last hit. He earned it too. Like that was
as far as I'm concerned, as long as my support's rotating, they can have the last hits. I don't even want the kills. Just don't leave me alone. Ben gets the extra assist. He hits level 6 first. He's got access to Searing Pain. He'll be fine. He's doing just fine.
He's doing just fine. We'll find a little bit of a lead off of that assist early on. And that's going to be a focus, I think. Snoopy, we talked about him on the Yu Huang, now on this Raijin. There's a lot of pressure for him to be aggressive on this notably aggressive pick. So I certainly don't dislike him being up there at the green buff, trying to force something, but has to be a little bit more careful, knowing that damage. Well, the 5-year hit for the Glads first on this left-hand side, but it's taken over for the Ravens, and they've got the man advantage. Scream makes the perfectly timed rotation, and it's 2-0 up for the Ravens.
Wow, that was interesting. Highlighted by Doug, Scream did not put a point into his ultimate at level 5. Almost didn't make it in time, right? Hurrywin got pretty weak there, but once he was able to pick up that kill, immediately just puts the point in at level 6. So wanted to prioritize farming a little bit more, recognize, hey, no one's getting aggressive onto me. I don't need my ult, right? I'm not ulting out. And hey, once we get that extra damage online, maybe I needed to rotate in, look for some fights, so ends up leveling the ultimate anyways. But still, Scream, plenty of damage as we saw last game. Looks like that same style of play will continue, but has been hovering the right side of the map. Seems to want to try and play through Haddix, try and invade some of these blue buffs, gank Kana if possible. This Ama is gone. I was going to say is looking weak, looking gone. Didn't have the time to react. One blink stun from Scream. Sorry, Ama. See you later.
This is a matchup we saw a little bit earlier as well. The Horus, one that we have more typically seen in the support role, making its way back into the solo role. Is this a counter? I don't even get a chance. Whirlwind under some pressure here, and looks like Snoopy back towards this green buff. Wants to take the fight this time around. Searing Pain guarantees a little bit of farm, but still am a fan of Snoopy looking to be aggressive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the Horse is just a pick that Haddix has liked to go to for quite some time. If you get Golden Blade start, you insta clear the wave, but with the Rune Forge buffs that have come through, Haddix actually decides to just outright buy that item and say, hey, we've got plenty of CC, we're going to be proccing this item pretty consistently, maybe even goes into the glyph later on, because there was pretty much every version of this item was buffed, and it's just going to help you out. Look at the damage that you're seeing as long as you're in that circle. Haddix is going to have a good time, and Kana just came back from base, man. He's going to have a blue buff.
He's got the gooseberries as well, already hitting for the AoE damage there. Haddix liking this pick, and this is what I was saying, like Ama's getting picked a lot more now. This might be a specific counter pick into these auto attack focus only.
You don't want to get close to Horus, as we just said, right? If you're having to get within auto attack range, he's going to CC you for half an hour, make sure the wave comes through, and clear the wave in the process. And you know what? I noticed he bought tier 1 breastplate, then ended up selling it. We have to hold that thought because Kirmi is on the way. Looks like Hurry wouldn't caught wind of this, but he might be in trouble.
Some pressure, traps him in the River's Rebuke, but he's going to walk back towards Stewart, and that's not the way you want to go. It's got to be the snipe off the mark on one. I don't even think the third gets there. The meditation heals, and they drop the kill onto Hurro when he puts on the juke shoes and is able to get out of there with the Riptides.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Awesome Jake is playing this pretty perfectly. That's the second time that Ryza gank has come through. He's hit the ultimate, figured Hurry went back through. Hurry stalls, doesn't really have too much Omi, but Kirmi jumps away. Wasn't able to get the ult off. Jump in from Zapman does not have the auto attacks, and now Stewart has a chance to push it back. Either way, surprising nonetheless.
Whoa. Yeah, beads burned off of Snoopy. In Venenu doesn't even need the setup. You can already see early on here how much damage that Searing Pain is doing. I think that was 2 total abilities. And Scream might not be done. So some interesting positioning here. Kirmi was the one under pressured, but now Scream may get chased down. I don't know if he has the mana for an ultimate. Scream with the overcommittal under the tier 1 tower hands the Glads their first kill.
I mean, he clearly wanted to blink on the Snoopy, but once that play died, I'm amazed that he walked forward and committed to the stun. Like, who are you stunning under tower with no mana there, Scream? A little bit overexcited. Makes a questionable play and gives the kill over to Kirmi. Not going to be the end of the world, though. Still does have 2 kills under his belt, so not going to be a shutdown or anything like that. But you highlighted the beads down. That's a big issue because Snoopy doesn't really have the luxury of being able to beads and dash away. There's a lot that Scream can do that's going to be able to cancel that dash with Ven around and that snipe almost off cooldown already. I'd be looking towards this Raijin. I'd be spending a lot of time in mid, especially when you've got a solid 2 minutes of being able to hit that stun.
Yeah, Snoopy was one that struggled in game number 1, I feel like, to deal relevant damage, especially with the lead that the Ravens got off to. And it's looking like a similar start. Maybe not as volatile, but the Ravens definitely up a little bit to start this game. And it's felt that way in terms of the pressure as well. Scream goes back to this pick. Make sure to grab it in the top 3 so that it doesn't get banned away. On the other side, though, Snoopy and Kirmi, they're finding the pressure onto Ven. Beads get forced onto the Ra as well, but he's off the mark. He misses 2. 3 Taiko drops, and the turnaround is beautiful. Ven grabs the kill onto Snoopy, and Kirmi, he's chased down on the right-hand side. Blink in, and Haddix grabs it off the mark with 3 out of 4 Taiko's drums, and he gets punished for it.
Oh, that one was hard to watch, Frog. I mean, the rotation in from Haddix is clutch. Of course, that shielding and that CC sets you up for the kill, but, I mean, Ven just, he's got the juke shoes there. I understand Raw's fast, but we gotta be hitting those holds there. Unfortunate for Snoopy. This set has not been going his way. And Ven I mean, on top of the world here. He does have to use his relics just to survive there. The beads go down, but as far as I'm concerned, the dive was a bit difficult as is, right? Kirmi wasn't providing too much damage there either. I think Snoopy had to make that play because the Camazot just didn't have enough damage online.
Yeah, and the response from Haddix was beautiful as well. In with the ultimate perfect timing, he grabs a kill. The Ravens definitely on the same page here and go out to a 2K, maybe close to 3K gold lead if they can push a little farther. And we're nearing the point in the game where they chose to force the Gold Fury fight in game number 1. And that's really the fight that felt like it just started the snowball rolling for the Highland Ravens. A little bit of a different comp this time around. I think the Glads have more in the tank to try and fight back. That's maybe where the hesitation comes from in starting something as aggressive as that. But Gold Fury on the map, Pyromancer looking to spawn soon, Beacon looking to spawn soon. We're coming up on this point in time where something feels like they got to start pushing this lead if they want to continue rolling down the hill.
And I love what we're seeing here because this looks to me like peak Highland Ravens, right? Where at the start of this split, they didn't quite understand the meta they wanted to play. They didn't understand their version of Smite. Now you got these unique picks from mid, which is really what Ven made his namesake on. Tries to go in for the stuns here, but Kana a little bit privy to that information. Still attempting to dive though means the Gilded Gladiators could get aggressive on the left side of the map. It looks like they'll do just that.
Irwin under pressure, Kirmi on to the support, and this time Snoopy hits all 4, and the support falls for the Highland Ravens. The pressure's still on, and beads get burned away from the ADC. A 2 versus 4 positioning here on the left-hand side, and the Gold Fury becomes a question mark. It's only Scream here in range of the objective. Zapman gonna be asked to get close as well, but Kirmi doing a little bit of zoning around that corner. Gets caught out down to half HP. Zap will take the 1v1. Has to force the jump early on, and Scream gets turned around on. They get separated throughout the fight. The Gilded Gladiators play the map perfectly, grab 3 and a Gold Fury.
I'm amazed at how long Ven spent on the right side of the map. I was about to praise him. I mean, but after you get the tier 1 tower, he's at back camps, he's farming, he stuck around for like the second gank on Kana. I mean, I love the first play, right? You recognize that Kana has 0 magical defense, and if Haddix finds a stun, your 100 is zeroing. For sure. That's a great play. Doesn't work out. Kana gets the dazzling defensive off, lives to the game. You look over towards left, Irwin's dying. Ven's like, alright, you know what? I can't make it over to gold in time. Let's push tower. They go in for the tier 1. Ven's still like, oh, Gold Fury's not being done. Maybe I should walk over there. Nah, I'm gonna go for the back camps. All of this, Scream doesn't get up to the sky, doesn't able to stall. I'm just thinking about how many tools the Highland Ravens had to slow down that team fight and let Raw show up to try and defend that Fury. Doesn't end up working out, of course, and in this case, Raijin goes uncontested, gets some free ultimates off, and the Gilded Gladiators find a way back into this game. But it seemed like a play that didn't need to happen. I think Ven spent way too much time over on the right side of the map. Get the tower, and get out. You're not killing Kana after that ult misses.
Gold Fury and 2, and the Gilded Gladiators continue to stem the bleeding. They keep the gold lead exactly where it was. They keep the experience lead close as well. But you'll notice that farm difference coming through from Venenu. He chooses to grab some of the back camps, grab a couple waves on right. All of a sudden grabs about a 1.5 level lead there in the mid lane. And Kana under some pressure here. Scream making his way over to the right-hand side. One of the damage to finish that one off. But, I mean, it's just given the Gilded Gladiators this sense of momentum. Look how comfortable they're feeling. They're just pushed up in the enemy jungle. Zapman has to play back at his tier 2 tower.
Yeah, because everyone's spending so much time in his purple buff, right? The left side of the map, unfortunately, is not somewhere the Highland Ravens have been. And this is what I wanted to talk about beforehand. It really does seem like the Ravens are building their own version of composition here, focused on healing. Here comes Kirby to the backline. How much damage is he able to do? So far, not much.
Good for Snoopy. Has to stay alive here. Still has the dash if he wants to use it. Awesome Jake looking for the fear and finds it onto Venenu. The re-engage here from the Gilded Gladiators. They've trapped out Ven, and the River's Rebuke. They have to fight into it if they want to find the kill. The healing is so potent though, and they can't find it just barely. Kirmi trades out his life, but it's a 1 for 2, and the Highland Ravens now there on the chase down the mid lane. Haddix with the rotation in. And the low health bars from the Glads forced them back down the mid lane. This healing coming through from the Ravens is staggering.
so much HP 5. They should be able to go in for this Pyromancer for free. It's curious if the Gilded Gladiators would step forward, but Awesome Jake does not have the range, does not have the damage. He's going to give that Runic Bomb over to Zapman for now. Unfortunate for Ven, man. Just a little bit late to the bus. Horus goes to the sky, says, hey guys, we're getting out of here, but the Ra was not able to make it in, and because of that, the whole team comes back. They try to save Ven, but the snipes from Stu on top of Kirmi diving the backline. I mean, I truthfully thought there was no anti-heal. That was through the Brawler's beatstick. Ven still has so much healing.
And the Divine.
Yeah, thanks to Haddix, thanks to Hurrywin, and of course, thanks to Ven himself. Picking up that last gasp, wanted some extra damage after those heals come through. Zapman holding this jump for quite some time. Wanted to make sure he could cover as much ground as possible. Has to Aegis, but he'll be living for now.
Living for now on the left-hand side. Hurrywin there to help him heal up a little bit, but with this major objective off the board, Pyromancer down, it's now all eyes towards the Gold Fury, just up in 10 seconds. Highland Ravens look like they have the positioning for it, notably Haddix over here on this left-hand side, Kana over on the right-hand side. This could be the man advantage if the Highland Ravens want to force it. They lost out on the last Gold Fury. They want to make sure that they're here for this one.
They do. Gilded Gladiators are close by on a lot of Ravens wards, by the way. The Highland Ravens have the left side of the map just lit up. They know where everyone is at in their own jungle, which is not a good place to be, especially when Venenu is nearby with snipes. Awesome Jake and CC, but it looks like Snoopy might be in some trouble.
Goodness, no beats available.
God.
He just gets swallowed whole in the back line, and Venenu finds the last hit. The chase is on and forces the Gladiators back to their tier 2 tower. Question is if they want to look to contest. It's only Awesome Jake who sticks around. Kirmi heads over to the mid lane. They'll give away the Primal Fury. That pick, that's the danger. If you're canceling out Snoopy, he can't move. He doesn't get a chance to play the game.
I mean, it's a positioning diff, but more than anything, Frog, it's a ward diff. I mean, Snoopy is just free casting through a wall thinking he's okay. He had both relics available. Beads and Aegis were up.
Oh my.
He didn't realize there was someone behind him, because guess what? He's on 2 different wards at the same time. In this case, Stu warded, so he knew that he was being ganked, but yeah, Snoopy had no idea. And because of that, Ven's able to one-shot him through the wall thanks to the setup there from Haddix. You gotta make sure you've got those sentry wards down, which unfortunately the Gilded Gladiators don't. I'm curious, who do we blame though? Who's the lowest warded on the Gilded Gladiators? If I had to guess, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, it's Kirmi. What a bum. Only 3. Ridiculous.
Ridiculous, dude. That lack of vision really hurting him. And hurting Snoopy there with the searing pain. No setup needed. Venenu makes the space. They've got the pressure on to the beacon here. Kirmi coming from behind. No wards with the jungler. They're lacking vision there and won't be able to step onto the beacon because of it. Awesome Jake poked down as well. It's just pressure now from the Highland Ravens, and it almost feels like a switch has flipped. I don't know what it is. It can't just be word coverage, but it felt like they were so confident up in the left jungle looking for the picks. They were all together. I mean, Kirmi and Snoopy were a 2-man army, and all of a sudden it feels like they've lost all the wind out of their sails.
Because this guy showed up, the level 18 Raw. Remember when that was happening, when they felt confident, when they were at tower line for Zapman? Where was Ven? Pushing right tower, right? He was with Haddix. So once you actually get the full rotation, that's when it's looking worse. Remember, this happened last time. 3-man rotation on to Scream, but it looks like Haddix and Scream are onto this one. You're not making it into the Horus ult, but you force 2 ults defensively. The Highland Ravens play this one smart. Last game, they simply just won that 2v3 because Haddix was Hades and did so much damage. But this time, they decided to retreat. Probably the smart call. Stewart's not over in left lane, though. Gilded Gladiators. Are they stepping up just for the Pyromancer? That seems to be the play.
One ult trades. They've got the slight advantage here if they want to try and turn things around, and Hurrywin becomes the focus. Ultimate used from Venenu as well. And all of a sudden, it's an advantage on the Gilded Gladiators. Haddix goes into the back line on his lonesome and gets turned around on, has to dash away, but the ultimate is late there from Snoopy. It's only grabbing Hurrywin, and he just barely gets taken down by Awesome Jake. Gladiators find a pick, and they're up man advantage here, but Scream has now joined the fray. Blink in, and the Ravens steal away the Pyromancer and are looking for the fight after the fact. That wasn't left, but you gave him enough time. You let him join the team fight, and he takes down Jake, and the space continues to come through. Scream is chasing down Kirmi, and the Highland Ravens get everything they were looking for, and they might get even more Snoopy trapped between a pillar and a lane, and the Ravens get 4.
Ven's got snipe. He wants to use it. Can you find anything onto Stu? Does not seem like it. And here comes the ult from Kana. He's just playing defense here. There's no way he can find a kill.
They're still looking for the damage. Oh my goodness, the impale from Zap, and they take another one with them. The Gladiators were looking to set up for the objective. They even had the man advantage, but it all turns on ahead, and the Ravens looking to take the FG.
20-minute fire giant. The only thing that could steal is off some Jake's ultimate. It's not off cooldown yet. You could send in a very slow-moving wave here. I'm kind of curious if he even does send it over, but if he did, he'd be on a ward, because guess what? Even in mid lane, the Highland Ravens have ward coverage. They know where you are, even when you're sleeping. You cannot do anything with the Highland Ravens around. There's the slowest wave in the world. It clips 3, but is not able to steal away that objective. The Highland Ravens get to go on back to base, probably set up for the Oni Fury unless the Gilded Gladiators get offensive right away. It just touched down. They need to pull it right now if they're going for it.
Oh my goodness, my mind is still on that fight. How does that go so wrong? For the Gilded Gladiators, they get a pick, they burn all the ultimates off. It felt like they had a man advantage, and then Scream just blinks in and does everything.
I think that Kiermi tanked up Pyro way too long. He was essentially half health from the get-go, and then you leave Zapman a split push. He gets to show up late and the sustain. That's the big part, right? If you get the pick into a composition like this, you get the pick and get out. You don't stick around and let Yamoja, Ra, Surtur, and just all this healing come through all at the same time. Throw Haddix in there as well. The Horus will be sustaining for the team. You don't win a delayed fight, not into this composition. You win the first time, you pop the Ankh, and you get out. You never stick around.
This feels like deja vu from game number 1. A little bit of a split push coming through. The Glads this time, though. Ravens are quick to respond. They send 2 over. It's a 3 versus 3 on the left-hand side, but the Ravens, they're the ones with the fire giant. Might be the ones forcing the fight here as well. Zapman has to be on the retreat. The root comes through, and they've got the damage to follow it up, and they're looking for the ADC. Snoopy finds it, and Scream, he's got no escape left. They have to find it, but he finds a trade. Stewart able to take down the jungler. There it's a 2-for-1 out of 2 fire giant players. The Glads even defend their tier 2.
This is so puzzling to me, Frog, because the Ravens do so much good, and then they troll like that again, where they send 2 over to right, and then say, hey, we've got Scream, we've got Ben, and we've got Zap. We'll just push tier 2 3v3 when Kana's got teleport. It's just never the good call. Kana goes forward. Looks like unless some CC connects, we'll be fine. Still, the sustain comes through, and the Gilded Gladiators, they're poised to fight this.
Stewart rolls in and just deals out the damage. Haddix has to dash away, and Heroin is beautiful on the peel. Traps 3 in the River's Rebuke. The Highland Ravens maybe bite off a little bit more than they can chew on that first fire giant. They do get that mid-tier 2. They knock some health down on the left side, but I can't help but feel like they could have gotten so much more.
100%. I mean, there's no reason to send 2 people back to defend right lane. It just doesn't make sense because, you know, Kana's got the ability to teleport. He can show up in an instant. If you're going over there to split push, if Kana gets away, he's going to join the fight over and left. That's a given. And the other thing is the illusion of Scream's tankiness. He's tanky on paper. But we saw what happens when 3 members of the Gilded Gladiators get close to this Surtur. He's not able to do much. Shouts out to Ven for hitting the clutch snipe onto Snoopy, because if not, that fight goes much, much worse, right? If that Verizon does not die, the Gilded Gladiators are probably able to chase so much more down. The Highland Ravens are not playing perfect Smite by any means, and that should give the Gilded Gladiators a lot of hope that they can make it to late game.
They're taking advantage of it. They're feeling confident up in the jungle, and Khan is the first one on the engage. He finds the stun on a Scream. The follow-up is lacking, and Kiermi caught out in the jungle. Venenu finds the snipe, and all of a sudden the ultimate comes through, and it's W key for the Highland Ravens. They take 2 off the board, and they're not done by a long shot if they can find these chase downs. It's going to be low health bars for the Gilded Gladiators. Won't be enough to step back towards this Pyromancer. The Island Ravens, they've still got Fire Giant on 3. They still have room for this push.
Yeah, they got to deal with the Titan first. Pyromancer drops, so Runic Bomb in play. This time going over to Scream. They have to wait for their own Titan if they're going to push up here. Fire is only here for 3 more seconds. How much can you really get done, especially when Ven is your tower damage? I'm guessing not much. This tower is going to take quite some time to go down without the help of the Titan, but Zapman's just pushing up mid by himself. Once again, you gotta question, is this the best place to be? Looks like he knew he was safe for the time being and will then rejoin the squad. Keep your eye on Scream though, he's not here with the team. He's over on the left, so right side Phoenix, not a great call.
Fire Giant off now for all the members. Titan pushing on the right-hand side, but should be felled before they get to go towards the Fire Giant. This is not EFG once again. This was in game number 1, the deciding Fire Giant for the Highland Ravens. Of course, in game number 1, they felt much more in control. This game, the reins have kind of gone back and forth, Trellick. It's been in both teams' hands, some good defenses from the Gilded Gladiators, maybe some question marks from the Highland Ravens. And if I'm the Glads, I agree. I think I've got a little bit more confidence with some of these question marks in the Ravens. Maybe you want to step up to this.
I mean, if the Ravens are playing grouped as a whole, there should be no problems. Luckily, Scream doesn't get caught, and I was going to say, once again, is lurking over in left lane with no one to be found. Another free Fire Giant unless Kana can go in for a steal. This will be his 3rd attempt at doing something this set on the Amaterasu and has not been able to find it just yet. Haddix usually is there on zone 2 just to make sure there's no shield coming through. Either way. Yeah, either way. Wait a second. Kana getting very low here. How much do you use to chase this Ama down, though? You definitely blink, get the beads down, but do you go to the skies? That's the real question here, because nothing else is going to catch him. Unless the CC comes through, where's the snipe? Does he have it?
My goodness, Kana on... I don't think they can chase him down, but they can certainly chase down mid. Awesome Jake. The focus turns on to him for a brief moment, but they lose a lot trying to chase down Kana there. Of course, you lose your tank ultimates if you're the Gladiators as well. This has got to be a defense up against the Fire Giant here. No wave for a couple more seconds. The Ravens are looking for the engage. Haddix, no blink available, but the damage is early on to Snoopy into the ultimate, but the damage is too much from Venenu, and he finds a double kill onto 2 from the Gladiators, and the Phoenix will be the next one to fall. Stewart and Awesome Jake there. Forward on the fight, low health bars here, and its damage is in. Kirby finds like a 5-man ult, but it's just temporary, forces him back. Highland Ravens still with the 5v3.
What I tell you, Frog, if you don't win the first fight, what are you going to do? How do you deal with this amount of sustain? The Highland Ravens, except for Haddix, they're looking full HP and they're looking at a Titan.
Looking for the end if they can find it. Haddix on the up down, and Awesome Jake on the way, but Venenu finds a rampage and takes down Kirby, and the Titan will be the next one to fall. Highland Ravens go up 2-0.
I mean, I love what the Highland Ravens did there, man. Besides the grouping, that was a big issue for me, besides the split push that did not need to occur, anytime Snoopy tried to cast Taiko drums, it was, hey, Rivers Rebuke up, here comes the snipe, you're deleted. You don't get to exist as a Raijin. I'm not sure if they baited into that pick. I'm not sure if they were like, hey, we need to bait Snoopy into picking it. Either way, this healing comp was cringe.